What occurs when the people elect a leader who truly represents them? The daring decision to abandon French influence has been made by leaders such as Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko and President Bassirou Diomaye of Senegal. When leaders are more than puppets, this is to be expected. France was unprepared for President Faye's decision to close all French military installations in Senegal. Many of the demonstrators chanted anti-French slogans while waving Russian flags. Antagonism against the French. But is there anything we can do right now? Can France convince Senegal to take back power? Let's investigate. Bassirou Diomaye Faye, the president of Senegal, declared the closure of all French military installations in a momentous and historic move, signifying a dramatic change in the post-colonial course of the country. This choice marks a significant step towards strategic autonomy and a daring declaration of Senegal's sovereignty more than 60 years after the country's independence. Additionally, the Senegalese people have responded strongly to Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko's condemnation of the country's ongoing French military presence, which has brought attention to the nation's ambitions for self-determination. Following a 9-year operation, troops are already leaving Mali in West Africa. Other European nations are also departing. What is the reason behind Senegal's recent decisive action? As you are aware, there has been a consistent rise in the number of violent extremist incidents. Additionally, people believe that France should be able to handle that crisis, given its many advanced military capabilities. However, this hasn't happened, and people's hopes haven't been fulfilled. For Senegal, closing French military installations represents more than just a change in policy. It is a statement of purpose for the future of the country. The historical resonances of Senegal's fight for full independence are echoed in Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko's forceful discourse on sovereignty and self-determination. This action serves as a moving reminder of the country's liberation from colonial oppression to the current pursuit of true autonomy. Sonko's contention that genuine independence and foreign military occupation of large portions of the nation, especially in the capital Dakar, are incompatible is representative of a larger feeling in the Sahel. In order to fight insurgencies, nations like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have driven out French soldiers and are looking for new allies, most notably with Russia. A shared desire to recover sovereignty and create security plans that serve national interests rather than outside pressures is what is causing this regional change. Otherwise, isn't it? How can we explain that? Especially because the Mali junta has refused to abide by regional standards and ideals in order to restore constitutional governance. Apart from that, the French also find it unacceptable that the Wagner Group has entered the scene. These individuals are not ready to live with these mercenaries, nor rebels. Therefore, the latest evolution and the French decision to withdraw were rooted in that tense relationship. A complex interaction of political, cultural, and economic forces led Senegal to decide to close its French bases. By appealing to nationalist feelings, it improves the government's standing politically at home. Culturally speaking, it is consistent with a larger opposition to Western influence on matters that many Senegalese believe to be at odds with their customs and values. Renegotiating important contracts and economic policies that are thought to favor foreign powers disproportionately is made possible by this. Sonko's commitment to economic self-reliance is demonstrated by his efforts to renegotiate oil and gas contracts and his vision for a more flexible currency arrangement. Senegal wants to build a more resilient and independent economy by attempting to diversify its economic alliances and lessen reliance on a single foreign power. But what does this indicate about Africa's border trends? Add your voice to the total liberation of Africa by leaving a comment in the comments section below. Do not forget to like and subscribe for more informative videos like this one. Let's proceed. In order to fight insurgencies, nations like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are displacing French troops and looking for new partnerships, particularly with Russia. Senegal's move is in line with this regional trend. A shared desire to recover sovereignty and create customized security plans that serve national interests rather than outside pressures is what is causing this regional change. Another crucial element is the opposition to alleged neocolonialism. West Africans are becoming increasingly resentful of the lingering effects of colonialism, which many believe stand in the way of full independence. Many people believe that France's ongoing dominance over areas like defense and monetary policy is a holdover from colonialism that must be broken. The desire to regain control of national affairs and lessen the presence of foreign troops has been stoked by this animosity. Economic factors are also quite important. In order to better meet their economic demands, many Sahelian nations are looking to diversify their alliances and collaborations. These nations seek to lessen their reliance on any one country and establish a more resilient and balanced economic climate by separating from France and looking into forming new alliances. This economic approach is seen in Senegal, where Prime Minister Sonko intends to renegotiate oil and gas contracts and investigate a more flexible currency arrangement. And what would this mean for the relationship between France and Africa as a whole? The junta in authority, led by Presidents Maïga and Goïta, gave them the impression that they were eager to remove the French and end the French president. The French soldiers and the Malian army's coordination is either impossible or extremely challenging. Therefore, I believe that they are more eager for a rapprochement with Russia now that they have come closer. It's not officially with Russia at the moment, but it's important to remember that the Soviet Union at the time provided Mali with considerable support when they gained independence in 1961. Additionally, the Russian army has retrained a few of their generals. Thus, they have strong ties to the Russian military. Therefore, it's possible that Mali was attempting to modify its alliance behind it, and hence no longer felt accepted. They saw the rise of anti-French sentiment in the nation, which had been stoked by the current government and social media. It renders their predicament intolerable. They are now regarded as an army of occupation after once being an army of freedom. They are charged with encouraging the nation's division. Senegal's audacious decision to shut down French military installations will have a significant impact on France and Africa. It marks a larger geopolitical change in West Africa in addition to redefining the bilateral relationship. This choice allows Senegal to strengthen its national security and regional leadership while forcing France to reconsider its long-standing military and diplomatic approaches. The closing of French military installations represents a major national sovereignty statement for Senegal. Senegal will need to improve its military capabilities in order to make up for the lack of French support for this endeavor. This entails updating military facilities, enhancing educational initiatives, and creating an autonomous defense force that can handle issues related to national security on its own. Additionally, this choice sends a strong message to the global community. It shows that Senegal is prepared to make decisions that serve its interests as a nation and to take decisive action to assert its sovereignty. Other African countries who are likewise aiming for increased independence and self-reliance are probably going to find resonance in this action. Senegal establishes itself as a leader in the push for greater African sovereignty and self-determination by establishing this precedent. Senegal's decision forces France to reevaluate its involvement in West Africa. Since the colonial era, France's military presence in the area has been a pillar of its foreign policy. France is forced to reconsider its military and diplomatic policies in the area as a result of the departure of its troops from Senegal. It is probable that France will take a multifaceted strategy, interacting diplomatically with Senegalese officials to reevaluate its strategic deployment in the area and look into potential negotiation possibilities. France will probably take part in more extensive diplomatic initiatives to demonstrate its commitment to counter-terrorism and regional stability in addition to its urgent military concerns. France's legitimacy and support for its military presence in the region can be strengthened by increased cooperation with regional institutions such as the Economic Community of West African States and the African Union. This reevaluation might prompt France to look for new ways to interact with African countries that respect their independence and sovereignty. The public's response to this is now the question. It's a fair question, since it demonstrates that this is one of the causes of the anti-French sentiment and the perception that France is playing two games. Is the reality that France supports the coup in Chad when President Deby was slain, while simultaneously trying to advance the idea of democratic governments and imposing democratic requirements on governments it wishes to assist? Senegal's response to the announcement of closing French military bases has been mixed. Many people, especially young people, rejoiced as a return to national pride. This is the beginning of a new era for Senegal, according to one student in Dakar. These feelings highlight a generational trend toward independent and strong nationalism. The ruling has also been discussed by academics and activists, who have offered a more critical viewpoint on its ramifications. The wider effects on Senegal's foreign policy and national identity have been examined by academics. They contend that closing the bases is an important step in reframing Senegal's role in the world, not merely a political one. This choice is interpreted as a denial of neocolonial influence and a declaration of national sovereignty. Political and human rights advocates have hailed the action as a win for anti-colonial movements and a drive for increased regional autonomy. They stress that foreign military sites have always been a source of conflict and a reminder of colonial domination. Senegal is demonstrating its sovereignty and sending a strong message to other African countries by closing these sites. Although the ruling has been widely applauded, there have been some issues and worries. Senegal must be ready to handle the economic and security ramifications of this action, according to critics. It will need substantial financial commitment and careful planning to improve military capabilities and maintain national security without outside assistance. Concerns have also been raised regarding the possible economic effects, namely with regard to bilateral ties with France and international investment. Many see the choice as a chance for personal development in spite of these obstacles. Senegal may become more resilient and self-sufficient by making investments in its own economic and military infrastructure. As Senegal looks for new alliances and partnerships inside Africa, this action may help promote greater regional cooperation and integration. Let's examine the potential economic effects of this choice, though, just to be sure. Let's discuss each modification. Closing French military installations has a variety of economic ramifications. In order to guarantee that Senegal gains more immediate advantages from its natural resources, Prime Minister Sonko intends to renegotiate contracts for gas and oil. It is anticipated that this action will strengthen the domestic economy and lessen need on foreign capital. Senegal hopes to establish a more just and advantageous economic environment for its people by negotiating fairer terms for its natural resources. Another important economic step is Sonko's demand for a more flexible currency that is tied to at least two other currencies. The goal of this approach is to increase economic resilience by supporting exports and improving shock absorption. Senegal's economic stability would be improved, and its ability to react to changes in the world economy would be improved with a more flexible currency arrangement. Senegal will need to make large infrastructure and training investments in order to improve its military capability. This offers a chance to create jobs as well as a financial challenge. With the development of technology, it will cost a lot of money to upgrade training programs, modernize weapons, and grow domestic defense companies in order to create a military that can operate independently. This investment presents chances for economic growth and development, even though it is required for national security. Additionally, the closure of French military installations creates new chances for regional collaboration and trade. There might be more chances for regional commerce and collaboration with nearby nations as Senegal moves away from French dominance. More economic integration in West Africa and the formation of new business alliances could result from this. Senegal can improve its economic prospects and provide greater regional stability by promoting regional collaboration. What does this mean for Senegal's future? An important turning point in Senegal's quest for independence and sovereignty has been reached with the closure of French military installations. This calculated action establishes a standard for other African countries aiming for independence. Senegal is well positioned to spearhead a new era of African resilience and self-determination with a renewed emphasis on strengthening military capabilities, renegotiating economic alliances, and promoting regional collaboration. The creation of an independent military is one of Senegal's main opportunities. It will take a large investment in technology, infrastructure, and training to improve military capabilities. Developing domestic defense companies, enhancing training programs, and updating equipment are all part of this process. Although this investment is required for national security, it also presents chances for technical and economic development. Senegal's economic independence is yet another crucial opportunity. A larger plan to attain economic independence includes the choice to renegotiate oil and gas contracts and investigate a more flexible currency system. Senegal wants to lessen its need on foreign investments and improve its economic stability by negotiating better terms for its natural resources and building a more robust economic structure. Another important opportunity for Senegal is regional cooperation. There might be more chances for regional trade and collaboration with nearby nations as the nation moves away from French dominance. More economic integration in West Africa and the formation of new business alliances could result from this. Senegal can improve its economic prospects and provide greater regional stability by promoting regional collaboration. The decision to close French military sites has great symbolic significance in addition to these strategic objectives. It is a daring move in the direction of recovering independence and national sovereignty. Many Senegalese have similar goals, and this action is in line with the larger continental trend to lessen reliance on former colonial countries. Senegal is establishing a standard for other African countries and establishing itself as a pioneer in the movement for more African independence and sovereignty by doing this. All things considered, the closing of French military installations is an important and symbolic step that represents Senegal's future goals. It is a step towards strengthening regional stability and collaboration, regaining national sovereignty, and advancing economic independence. Senegal is helping to achieve the larger objective of a more independent and self-sufficient Africa by determining its own path. Senegal's future seems promising as it establishes itself as a front-runner in the push for increased African independence and sovereignty. Do you believe Senegal's new leaders are making the right choice? If France were compelled to depart forever, what do you think will happen? Will France be able to persuade Senegal to return its military installations? Tell us what you think in the comments section below. We explore the rich history, culture, and the ongoing struggle for sovereignty in Africa. Join us in this important conversation by subscribing to our channel. By subscribing, you're not just staying informed, you're becoming part of a movement dedicated to reclaiming Africa's rightful place on the global stage. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Let's work together to spread knowledge and inspire change. Thanks for watching.